to get it back. And the way to get it back is to go back to the beginning. You know what I mean?
Now I got the flow. I'm about to pull up. He's peaceful colors. And I've been waiting so long. Now I gotta resurface. He ain't ready to stop. How the better we burn it. Cause I've been feeling cool time. I've been feeling cool time. Turn up.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. My name is J.H. How y'all doing, Postal family? Everything good? Everybody cool? Everybody clean? Everybody crisp? Everybody hiring? Alright, so first off, what is a postal support employee or / an assistant? That would be the CCAs, City Carrier Assistant, or the MHAs, Mail Handler Assistant, PSE, Postal Support Employee. They are just that. They are just assistants to the career employees. Alright? End of the video. See you guys later. Okay, all right. I guess that wasn't enough information. So, let's talk. You have probably never worked in a career job that had a union behind it, which is probably why you're losing your mind right now, wondering why you were hired on as just a 360 employee. That's what the union set up. Don't shoot the messenger. That's what the union set up. So as assistants, your job is simply to assist the career employees that already have set hours and set bid schedules. Your job is the grunt worker. Your job is to do everything that is not completed or not part of the detail of the bid that another career employee works. So you come in and you notice a bunch of career employees that do nothing in your opinion. Yeah, I see it all the time. Problem is that those career employees that have been there for 30 years, 95% of the time they had to be an assistant or non-career or the grunt worker for the first 5 to 10 years of their existence there. So they did everything that you are about to embark on, and they grinded through it. They went and they put their effort in, their time in. They put their blood, sweat, and tears in. They went through the non-scheduled days that they had to work. They went through not being with their family for large amounts of time, and they dealt with it. So here's the key. If you're not ready for that, don't apply. Because it's not for the weak at heart or the weak at mind, because you're not going to be able to survive it. If your mindset is completely staring at the next person and wondering why you are grinding harder than them, 95% of the time, you're just not going to exist at that position very long. I did that. I made those mistakes, but I made it through it. So because I made it through it, I'm in a better place now. The union has set in place guidelines that state that the maximum time that anybody can be an assistant would be 2 years. They put these clauses inside the contract. It used to be. There was no cap limit on it. So You could be a postal support employee or a casual employee for 3, 4, 5, 6 years before you reached career status. Now, as an assistant, once you step in, yes, you will have insurance, health insurance. You don't get the same insurance that the career employees get, but you do get health insurance. Is it the best? It's better than a lot of other insurances. You will have to definitely do diligent because they don't tell you about this. You have 90 days to sign up. And if you can't figure out how to go about doing it, you do it through your light blue. Or you call Human Resources and they'll walk you through what you need to do. Human Resource number is the same number that you use for call-ins. Alright? If you guys don't know the number and you ask me, I'll leave it in the comment section. The problem that I've noticed when I was a PSE, yes, a postal support employee, not what everybody else thinks PSEs are. They're like, oh, I got hired as a PSE. Yeah, PSEs are just postal support employees. We had them for the tractor trailer operators. We had them for the distribution clerks. We had them for the processing clerks. And I believe at one time, I could be wrong, they had PSEs for the mail handlers. I think they just changed it over to mail handler assistants. I could be wrong. Problem that I had was I never had a set schedule. It was on call for everything and never really knew how many hours I would. There was no consistency, and that drove Jay crazy. Good thing is I'm a little older and I was able to restructure my life to make it work and time manage. That is something that you, as the newcomer to the industry, has to figure out, because if you have no work-life balance, this is going to drive you crazy. You're going to come to work miserable every day because they're going to call you last minute. They have up to a certain amount of hours before your shift to call you, etc., etc. And I know that today we have instant gratification where you need, hey man, I was planning on going to the beach today. Then they call me in 2 hours beforehand talking about I got to be to work if I don't show up. There's keys to that. When you answer your phone, then technically you're reachable. Inside tip, if you're off and you see that the schedule said you're off, definitely take pictures of your schedules. Your place will tell you, oh man, you're supposed to look at the schedule every day. I would check with Miss K about that because she's a union rep. She can probably tell you the ins and outs on if you need to look at the schedule every single day. But if you go there and you don't have you have a day that's off, and then the next day they call you and say, hey man, why you didn't show up to work today? Say, man, I took a picture at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. What are you talking about? Oh no, you were changed to the schedule. No, this is the pic. Oh, you're supposed to look in the beginning of the day and the end of the day. No, they can't really do that. If you answer the phone, they kind of got you dead to rights. There was a point where I blocked on my phone, blocked management. They couldn't call me for nothing. If I left the day and I said I was off, they can call me. I'm not telling you to do that, but some people get burned out. The good workers tend to get burned out faster. Why is that? Because as an assistant, as a postal support employee, they kind of work you with unrealistic expectations. And it's definitely up to you to pace yourself. That doesn't mean be lazy. That means keep a good pace. A pace that you can keep mentally and physically for 10, 15, 20 years. But if you keep that super fast pace and you always first in, first back, you're gonna have issues. My son was a carrier, and he was one of the best at his job. Problem was, he lived an hour and some change away from his place, and he had to get back to go get his daughter from the daycare before a certain time. You guys feel that. You guys know that. And then all of a sudden, when he's ready to leave, then all of a sudden they call, hey man, I need you to do something extra. He's like, yo, my guy, I just did 2 extra pieces. What is you doing? And it just got to a boiling point. And yes, Jay couldn't even keep his own son, going through it. I applaud him for what he did and how long he stuck around. That doesn't mean for you guys to quit. That doesn't mean for you guys to continue doing it. It just became a boiling point for him, and that worked out best for him at the time. He may come back eventually when things are more level in his life. But as of this point, no, it wasn't a good fit for him. And that's not a problem. If you feel like this place isn't a good fit, you should know that within your 90 days. Your 90 days. Don't drag it out to the point where they feel like they're going to fire you and then you have no chance of coming back. I read it in the comments all the time. People leave and then they come back. They leave on fair terms or they leave on their own terms and then they come back a couple years later when things are structured better for them. Life happens. We understand that. But the assistants and the support employees are there basically to do the grunt work. The grunt work. Now, if you're one of those that stands around, understand there are people watching. Even if you're hot. I was watching a guy yesterday. He put a GPC in front of him. He put a box on one side. So he was hiding. It was funny. It was funny to me. But I'm like, dude, you're sitting there hiding, but the camera is sitting right above your head. What are you doing? It happens. It happens, And then they get pulled to the side and then they, go through this whole arguing thing about, oh, no, I was working. Like, no, this is you sitting down 45 minutes. It wasn't your lunch break. You hiding. Don't put yourself in that scenario. All I can tell you, and I don't give advice, but understand that what you're about to embark on or what you're doing right now is definitely not for the faint at heart. If you have an excellent or strong work ethic, this should be a breeze for you. If you're just coming off the street and you're not accustomed to this type of postal world, is a world of its own. Even with union jobs, I've never seen anything like this. So be open-minded to what you're about to embrace. Be concerned because you hear all the war stories about the piss poor management. Be happy because you're going to probably make more money than you've ever made. It's not an excuse to say, hey, get beat up because you're making more money. But there's so many pluses, there's so many negatives. It's about the individual and whether or not you're ready to embrace it. I have plenty of videos about each craft. And with each craft comes certain hurdles that each of us have to figure out how we're going to battle. That's all. Even as truck drivers. Some people are not ready. Even the best truck drivers, they're just not ready. So it's not, oh, truck drivers make more money than everybody. It has nothing to do with the stress levels that come with this job. Be ready, be aware. Postal support employees and assistants, you are the grunt workers. You make things happen. Alright? This is JH with a little bit of know-how. We out.